Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning to everyone that is watching this video. Today, I will be presenting to you my PSM video. So, for my PSM, I did iFleet Management System, the external module, and the contents that I will be sharing is an introduction to iFleet, the literature review, the methodology I used during this final year project, the system design, implementation, and testing, and also a conclusion. So, first, the introduction. What are the problems that made me create iFleet? So, the first problem was lack of service to keep track of previous problems encountered by the vehicles, separate inventory management, which makes it harder to keep tabs on the items in the inventory, and also no purchase order system to order parts needed for repairs efficiently. So the project aim was to develop a mobile application that can provide a platform where the company can keep track of their inventory and also keep track of their workload. So the project objectives are to elicit requirements for the system from the stakeholders, to design and develop a mobile application for the external users of iFleet management system based on stakeholder requirements, to ensure testing and fixing any issues that arises before the release of the mobile application. So the project scope is there's four modules: the user module, inventory management module, service module, and purchase order module. So now to the literature review. So currently there are a few systems that exist. Two of the ones that stood out to me was Autosys and Azuga. So I made a comparison between Autosys, Azuga, and iFleet management system. So you can see that a few main features are lacking in either Autosys or Azuga. For example, Azuga doesn't have inventory management or maintenance log or purchase order or service history, while Autosys doesn't have a mobile app and doesn't have purchase order. So the technology used here is Visual Studio Code and also Flutter. So moving on, I will share the methodology I used during this final year project. So my method was agile and waterfall method. So the system requirements are pretty easy. The operating systems needs to be at least Windows 10. The CPU needs a processor with at least 3 gigahertz of processing power and at least 4 gigabytes of RAM. But it will be recommended if you had 8 gigabytes of RAM. And the software used is Flutter, which is a framework for Dart language, which is good for mobile application development. Next, the requirements and analysis design. So here are the use cases. There are 21 of them. And here is the system architecture of the model view controller architecture. You can see there are a few models and a few views and a few controllers in there. And here is the prototypes. So these are mock-ups of the project, the interface. Here, there's a login page, inventory page, and service page. So for testing, I implemented the project. So here are examples of the coding for Vue. You can see the coding for Vue is inside the widget build. And then example of coding for the model is inside the class. And also example of coding for the controller, you can see different types of uh, functions. Here, there is a function to list out vehicle details. And here is the example of test cases. So in conclusion, This project was aimed to provide the stakeholder a fleet management system that would help them manage their fleet of vehicles with more efficiency. The modules that were included in this project were made from breaking down the requirements of the system and eliciting the features that were needed for the system. In the first chapter, we have discussed and introduced the external model of iFleet management system, the problem background, the project objectives, the project scope, the project importance, and the overall report organization. In chapter 2, we have done a literature review of the problem background of our project, which includes a case study, analysis of current systems that are currently available, and comparing them to our system. In chapter 3, we have explained our system development methodology for our project and justify our usage of agile waterfall hybrid method. In chapter 4, we have performed the requirement analysis and design system where we had a use case diagram, a sequence diagram, and activity diagram. In chapter 5, we have discussed the implementation and coding parts of the project. And in this final chapter, we have concluded the previous chapters for the report and discussed the achievements of our project objectives and suggestions for improvement in the future. So, thank you.